Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right on KPFT. I'm Egberto Willies, your host, along here with my great companion and host, Roxy. Roxy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Egberto. How are you?
Oh, actually, I'm doing pretty well. But, you know, one of my comedic and satirical idols let me down this weekend. Bill Maher let me down. And because of Bill Maher, I am going to have a very touchy show today. It's going to be on Islam. Oh, what can I say about that? It's going to be quite interesting. You know? But I tell you what, Roxy, how was your day? Before we even get any kind of serious, how was your day?
My day was good. It was an early morning, and I'm going to have to shout out the have I told you that I've had not only car problems, but I also had a flat tire?
You didn't tell me about a flat tire.
I had a flat tire,
God.
and I had a Bob was really on my case about it.
Oh.
He was on my case
Did
about.
he help you?
Well, he did help me. He helped me change the tire.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Bobby helped me change the tire.
Bobby did?
Yes, and Bobby, more handy than you would think.
Okay.
And he, and so Bob was really on my case about getting a tire.
Uh-huh.
And I, of course, was moving at the time, didn't have time to, go sit at the place. So I went to the place on Saturday to get a tire. And then when I got there, they were busy, and I really didn't have time to wait around for 3 hours. Sorry, that's not something I find fun.
You didn't get it.
So I didn't get it, but I made an appointment. And I went back on Monday, and I dropped my car off, and I came back a few hours later, and they handed my keys, and I was on my way. Of course, I paid for my tires.
Yes, I figured that part.
Yeah, had to do that.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was I was really, because they knew who I was, took my keys, took my car. I came back. It was ready.
And everything was ready.
Everything was ready.
Were you here earlier today?
Yes, I was.
Okay, because I don't remember listening. I kind of touched a little bit, and I don't think I heard you earlier today. But anyhow.
Oh, you didn't hear? You weren't tuning in between the hours of 3 and 4:30?
I like the way you advertise your show. Yes, remember, Roxy comes on between 3 and 4:30.
Yes, I do the traffic report.
Yes, she does. And she put a kind of a voice on Roxy. Anyhow, getting serious now, folks. I am a fan of Bill Maher. He has this canny ability to break through all the minutia, you know what I mean? His political acumen is generally very good and well thought out, even though a lot of people kind of don't think so because he's kind of brash. You know how the guy is. He does, however, have a weak spot that needs to be corrected. Bill Maher has a following that's young and not so young. His display of a virulent Islamaphobia is something that liberals of all stripes must call out now, and they must do it strongly. Over the last several months, his rhetoric has been over the top. It is not good for our country. Moreover, he needs, or I shouldn't say he needs. What I should say is, what he's actually doing is feeding into the right-wing politics that have led our country astray. And especially in times like these, it can be rather dangerous. So Roxy, I don't know if you found that video yet. If you were to, are you at the main blog page?
Yes, sir, I am. However, I cannot pull it up on that, so I'm trying to find it on your YouTube page.
Oh, it's not on the YouTube. It's actually on another one. That's okay. You mean so you can't get it off of the? It won't pull up from that little.
Unfortunately,
link.
our computer in here only pulls up. You can pull up videos on
well,
YouTube.
Then I won't be able to let you guys listen to an important. What I wanted to give it some context for what Bill Maher said in his new rules 2 weeks ago, but I don't think I need it for the context. I think I can actually proceed with my special thing.
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay, folks, this one is titled, this blog post is titled, "This Was Likely CNN's two most bigoted segments as Bill Maher's Islamophobia discussed." And this was a discussion between Don Lemon and his partner. I don't remember her name off the pot, but I'll talk about it in the blog. But here goes the blog. And this, please listen, and I would love to hear from you guys. Before I go to the blog, though, I want to say, remember, this is a call-in station. The number is 713-526-5738. 713-526 KPFT, and Roxy says it this way.
713-JAM KPFT.
Oh, Roxy. Anyhow, folks, so it's a touchy subject. We're going to be talking about, it's not specifically about the religion, but how we're dealing with it. And I want folks to give me a call and give me your thoughts. I really want to hear from you. This is KPFT FM 90.1. But here goes the blog post. It's called, "This Was Likely CNN's Two Most Bigoted Segments as Bill Maher's Islamophobia Discussed." And I have, I made a mashup of the videos. I took the pieces of the videos from Bill Maher. Oh, you got it? Okay, it looks like she's going to be able to play. So let me kind of talk a little bit until she gets that queued up. Roxy is great. You guys don't know. She can put her technology all over the place. But anyhow, what I do a whole lot is I watch a whole lot of the current events on videos, on TV. And when I think it has a material effect on our body politic or anything like that, I will bring it into my video program and cut out the pieces that I know people make a difference or things that people would want to hear. And I do this because, all our lives are busy, and I figure as a blogger, that's what I do now mostly. As a blogger, it is my job, a blogger who wants to provide truth, to provide this information in a condensed and honest way. Not condensed to fool you like you get from the right wing, but condensed and honest so that you can do something with it, so that we can move ourselves forward on what's going on. Well, Bill Maher, over the last several months, we all knew that he had a problem with Islam as a religion. He's pretty much been maligning that religion for some time. Are you ready, Roxy? So let me play this for you, or Roxy's going to play this for you. And it's coming in now.
ISIS is not Islamic.
Thank you. There it is.
If vast numbers of Muslims across the world believe, and they do, that humans deserve to die for merely holding a different idea, or drawing a cartoon, or writing a book, or eloping with the wrong person, not only does the Muslim world have something in common with ISIS, it has too much in common with ISIS. But if vast numbers of Muslims across the world believe, and they do, that humans deserve to die for merely holding a different idea, or drawing a cartoon, or writing a book, or eloping with the wrong person, not only does the Muslim world have something in common with ISIS, it has too much in common with ISIS. There's so much talk about wiping out ISIS. You can't. Not with bombs. You can only expose that something is a bad idea. Cultures are different. It's okay to judge that rule of law isn't just different than theocracy, it's better. If you don't see that, you're either a religious fanatic or a masochist, but one thing you are certainly not is a liberal. To count yourself as a liberal, you have to stand up for liberal principles, free speech, separation of church and state, freedom to practice any religion or no religion without the threat of violence, respect for minorities, including homosexuals, equality for women. It amazes me how here in America we go nuts over the tiniest violations of these values, while gross atrocities are ignored across the world. The nation goes into Twitter outrage until he is forced to perform that most debasing of acts, the talk show apology tour. Meanwhile, in 10 countries, not in a good way, we hear a lot about the Republican war on women. It's not cool. Rush Limbaugh called somebody a slut. Okay. But Saudi women can't vote or drive or hold a job or leave the house without a man. Overwhelming majorities in every Muslim country say a wife is always obliged to obey her husband. That all seems like a bigger issue than evangelical Christian bakeries refusing to make gay wedding cakes. 91% of Egyptian women, 98% of Somalian women have. Ayan Hirsi Ali grew up in Somalia and is one of them. She was scheduled to speak at Yale last week, but the school's atheist organization, My People, complained that she, quote, did not represent the totality of the ex-Muslim experience. Meaning what? The women who like mutilation? You're atheists. You should be attacking religion, not siding with the people who hold women down and violate them, which apparently you will defend in the name of multiculturalism. Bono by the wrong pronoun. Donald Sterling isn't allowed to own a team because he told his mistress not to post pictures with black guys. Okay, but if we're giving no quarter to intolerance, shouldn't we be starting with the mutilators and the honor killers? Or will that divert us from the real problem? That when Mel Gibson drinks, he calls women sugar tits.
Well, thank you very much for cleaning those 4 little pieces out. I forgot to clean those out myself, so I appreciate that. But anyhow, this is important, folks, because what Bill Maher said was plausible, and there are some very important truths to what he said. But we must be careful in the generalizations that he has made. So here is a blog that I wrote, and I wrote it. CNN listened to that piece, and they had a whole segment, actually 2 segments on 2 different days on it. One that was pretty bad, and one that turned out worse. So here is the blog that I wrote. Over the last few weeks, Bill Maher has been on an Islamophobic campaign. This is regretful because Bill Maher, while profoundly caustically funny, generally gets real-time politics right. His attack on Islam comes from the same shallow thinking he generally accuses the average American population of engaging in. Last week, he ended his new rules with a rant, the one that you guys just listened to, that while filled with good points about liberals dropping the ball on criticizing certain Muslim practices in certain countries, he made bigoted generalizations. The problem is that Bill Maher generalized those who practice Islam. CNN took on Bill Maher's statement. They brought on Reza Aslan, an Iranian-American writer and scholar on religions, to discuss it. It was obvious from the beginning that CNN's Don Lemon and Alison, I think her name is Alison Camerota, bought into Bill Maher's flawed narrative on Islam. What made this more painful is that Don Lemon, as a gay black man, should understand how generalizations lead to mischaracterizations, destructing empathy. They are outright bigoted. CNN should have known that they needed to have their intellectual house in order if they were going to discuss this subject with Reza Aslan. After all, this is a man that authored Zealot, The Life and Times of Jesus of Nazareth, Beyond Fundamentalism, Confronting Religious Extremism in the Age of Globalization, and No God But God, The Origins, Evolution, and Future of Islam. This man is not only read in Islam but in most world religions. It was evident that the two CNN lightweights were no match, and instead of using Reza Aslan words as a learning experience, they attempted challenges that fell flat. This week, Bill Maher continued his attack on Islam along with his guest Sam Harris. They continued their generalization of Islam. Both Ben Affleck and journalist Nicholas Kristof failed to get both Bill Maher and Sam Harris to see how bigoted their mischaracterizations and generalizations were. Reza Aslan pointed out that it is rather silly to generalize the treatment of women in Muslim countries. After all, many of these countries have been led by women. Come on. Indonesian President Megawati Soekarno-Putri, Pakistan Benazir Bhutto, Turkish Prime Minister Tansu Çiller, Bangladeshi Prime Minister Bengun Khaleda Zia, and Sheikh Hasina, two of them. The most powerful Western country, America, is yet to elect one woman. Okay? Reza Aslan also pointed out that the generalization of genital mutilation is not a Muslim problem but an African ritual. After all, two Christian countries, Ethiopia and Eritrea, have north of 70% genital mutilations on women. When asked if Islam is a violent religion, he rightfully pointed out that no religion is violent or peaceful. He pointed out a violent sect of Buddhism, one that does a lot of killing, since nobody ever characterizes Buddhism as a rather violent religion. It depends on what those practicing the religion bring to it. Reza Aslan continued to decimate Don Lemon and Alison Camerota. When Alison Camerota asked one of the most silly questions as she generalized the criminal justice system in quote-unquote Muslim countries, Reza Aslan could not help but be frank. And this is what he said. This was quite interesting. Did you hear what you said? Reza Aslan asked. You said in Muslim countries. I just told you that Indonesian women are absolutely 100% equal to men. In Turkey, they have had more female representatives, more heads of states than we have had in the United States. Stop saying things like Muslim countries. To say Muslim countries as though Pakistan and Turkey are the same, as though Indonesia or Saudi Arabia are the same, as though somehow what is happening in the most extreme forms of these repressive countries, autocratic countries, as representative of what's happening in every Muslim country, is frankly, and I use this word seriously, stupid. Chris Cuomo appeared with Don Lemon and Alison Camerota a few days later. After taking a lot of flack for the intellectual dishonesty of the segment, they attempted to put lipstick on a pig. Unfortunately, Chris Cuomo made it worse with one statement. His tone was angry. This is what Chris Cuomo said. His tone was angry. Me talking about Reza Aslan. He wound up kind of demonstrating what people are fearful about when they think of the faith in the first place, which is hostility of it. Chris Cuomo said that about Reza Aslan. Reza Aslan was never raised his voice. He was just factual. He was just factual. Has Chris Cuomo ever characterized the Christian screaming zealots in America this way? The Rush Limbaughs and all the others? It is a characteristic chant. The angry black man, the angry black woman, the angry feminist, the angry Muslim, the angry everything else, when a strong, empathetic defense is made against the norm. With all the airtime that could be filled with learning and dispelling myths and preconceived notions, our media continues to fail. Our people are misled because we have a derelict media. Folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526 KPFT. Give me a call, and Roxy says it this way.
713-JAM KPFT.
Okay, let's have a regular on. Terry, I don't know where you're going to land on this one. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I give Bill Maher a pass about a lot of things because back after September the 11th, he told the truth when he said,
yes,
calling the Muslim terrorists cowards was factually untrue. If you strap a 25-ton airplane to your butt and fly into a building, you're a lot of things, but you're not a coward because you're committed to what you believe. Now, what you may believe may be as asinine as the world is large and round, but you are committed, and you are not a coward. You may be insane, but you're not a coward.
Yes, I hear you. But yeah, I mean, what I really was trying to get at is, Bill Maher has been going on this Islam thing for a long time, and both of us, I know, we all have several Muslim friends, and we know that in every religion there are these tenets that nobody talks about. I don't know how many people have read Leviticus or Leviticus, and a couple of other parts of the Bible that if somebody were to decide to take a look at it, stoning people to death and all of that, one may come to the same types of conclusion as well. But I want to go deeper. But let me get you to continue first before I go any deeper.
Well, this is the problem. Whether it's Islam, Buddhism, Sikhism, Christianity, Judaism, or the cult of the flying spaghetti monster. This is what the problem is. Religion. Religion is a false set of narratives that is used to control people. That's a fact.
Right.
And so, in defense of their false narratives, human beings lash out and kill the infidel, kill the non-believer, convert or die. These are all phrases that have been bandied about to justify the mass slaughter of millions of people because they won't join the cult in general or in particular at that time. And so the problem continues to be religion. That's really what Maher is saying. He's not saying it in the most eloquent way, but that is a fact. Whether it was the Crusades, whether it is the Purge, whether it was the Salem witch trial, whether it is the current Islamaphobia, religion is the problem.
Now, let me tell you two things. First of all, as you know, I'm a humanist, so I mean, it makes me know, never mind, as many would say, how this goes. My wife is a devout Christian. My wife is a deacon. So, I've learned to respect everybody's religion, Muslim or otherwise. My concern with with Bill's tonality right now is because of ISIS and because of the right-wing nuts that we have now. There's a lot of damage he can do with that type of wording, which is not really, as you said, it may be inartful, but it's really also inaccurate. I mean, I think Reza Aslan did an excellent job when he pointed out that generalizing Muslims as one group and one behavior, he made a great observation that the treatment of women in Saudi Arabia versus Indonesia or versus Malaysia completely different. These are other countries where women have become the leaders of the country.
But the preponderance of the evidence indicates otherwise.
Well,
let me finish.
Yeah,
the
go
old
ahead.
phrase that not all terrorists are Muslims, but all Muslims seems to be terrorists. Now, that's not true.
No, it's not.
It is the perception that fuels the narrative.
Exactly.
How many Christian women have been mercy killed in the United States?
I haven't seen. We don't see that. But here's my problem,
I promise
Terry.
you, there have been mercy killings of Islamic women in the United States.
But here's what I'm saying. Come on, we've read about the one that occurred in New York, right? And I think so we know about that. Here's the issue, however. That may be true for some folks, but there are a lot of other types of killings unrelated to Muslims, just as violent. So I'm not defending any particular type of killing or whatever, but what I'm saying that is very dangerous is to make that an association with the religion. because there's a lot of things that we can associate with Christianity right now today. I mean, let me give, or Christianity or Judaism or whatever, let me give the most classic example that was very recent, okay? When Israel invaded Palestine. You know, we were talking about how the small amount of Palestinians caused the reaction of Israel. And when we looked at the differential in death tolls, or who created more carnage, or who did more evil, if you will, evil defined as of having innocent people killed, who did most of the killing? You know, so
it was the Israelis.
And that's my point. So my point is, and nobody's going to sit down here, absent you maybe, and call and try to blame Judaism for being some sort of violent religion. When we look at if we look at the numbers, I mean, the other day actually, when I was writing the piece on Israel versus Palestine, I went ahead and did and I'm coming to you next, Bobby. I did some research on the amount of Palestinians dead versus Jews since 1945, and we're talking no comparison whatsoever. So let's ask the real question: how do you define evil? How do you define violence? How do you define all these other issues? When you're the one defining it, it creates a problem. Let's take a look at Iraq. When we went into Iraq, who are most of the folks that were killed? Who are most of the folks that are dead? I'm not trying to justify. I'm just trying to say we have to remember to put the correct narrative on these particular issues, because if we don't, people get that false sense that our killing is okay, but their killing is not. I say neither one's okay.
Just to further illustrate that point, I'll use the movie reference.
Yes.
The movie that Jamie Foxx played in called The Kingdom. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't see it.
But it was a very, very excellent movie because it showed both sides of the quote-unquote terrorist issue.
Mm-hmm.
And the central point was, at the end of the movie, both sides said, that's okay, we're going to kill them all. And what it really illustrated, in my opinion, was the insanity that's inherent in both sides, because neither side can see a path to victory without the complete annihilation of its enemies.
And I love that you said that. And that's the problem then that I have with Bill Maher, because remember, one of the statements that he made was, we are better than you. And then he uses Saudi Arabia, cutting off heads and these other issues, but he never used some of the other points that he could have. So that's
it's like I said the other day. What's so bad about getting your head cut off versus getting your head blown off by a helicopter gunship?
No, I should not have laughed, but the way you said that. No, you're right, sir. Let me put you on hold here. I want to go to Bobby, and then I'll come back to you. Bobby, come on in, my friend.
Well, Bobby's axiom number one is, the purpose of religion is to lead the people to the government.
Oh, that's a different take now. Go ahead. Continue, please.
All right, now, when the guy named Raza, I think his name's Raza.
Raza Atzlan.
Yeah.
He
was totally sane.
Mm-hmm.
The other people were fundamentalists. I mean, Bill Maher was off the mark. He should have said, okay, if he wanted to include, the problem is religion being used as a tool, like I'm saying, the purpose of religion is to lead the people to the government.
Let me stop you right there a second, Bobby, because I don't want to forget what I was going to say here. But in effect, one of the folks that responded to my blogger said, Egberto, I think you may have misunderstood Bill Maher. He's talking in general about religion. And if he had made that distinction, I mean, if he had made that distinction, I would have been okay, because there's a lot of valid points that he made that liberals leave out. In other words, liberals should be just as mad as we are in the United States when women are abused as when Saudi Arabia abused women, and a lot of liberals have not done that. Bill Maher was absolutely correct about that. My concern was when, if you take a look at not only last week but this week, when he had the discussion with what's his name, the actor. When he had the discussion with the actor, can't remember his name right now, but Ben Affleck. Yeah, when he discussed it with Ben Affleck, he actually told Ben Affleck, no, we are better. You know, when you say that, whenever you start to get into that thing like my God is better than your God, or the God that my American friends serve is better than the God that your guys serve, we start to reach at a standstill. I just wanted to get across, but come on in, my friend. Come back in.
Okay, well, the problem is that they were being irrational, and this Reza guy was totally he totally completely argued every point down that they had, but they didn't hear him. They didn't listen to it. They were not listening to him. They were listening to what they had said before. And so it's a lady. I saw this on my and I wrote about it on my Facebook. But the problem is that it's fundamentalist religion used toward ignorant people and uninformed people, and they can be led around by the nose. It's like, why do people listen to Rush Limbaugh? Because they have no other information. It's propaganda, and it is dangerous. Fundamentalism is fundamentally dangerous. I mean, you cannot get around that. Every civilization uses it to lead around their people because it's a lot easier and lazier. We can just do that. We can make you believe something, and you'll follow us, and you'll do anything we say. And then that means that the leaders are corrupt, lazy. They encourage ignorance and bigotry instead of doing the opposite, which would be enlightenment, education. Let us lead. Let us be a Harry Truman, or even in some cases, I'm saying Obama has stuck his neck out. Whenever a politician or a religious leader sticks his neck out and says, "Let's do better," that's very rare, and it's commendable, and it's what their job is. But when the purpose of religion is to lead the people to the government or for the government or under the government, put in the preposition you want. Now you have a problem.
Right.
And that's what Bill Maher should be saying instead of Islam is the problem.
I think you just hit it on the money.
We invaded them for 1,000 years.
Right.
We weren't the problem.
Right. I think you hit it on the money when you said what he should have said. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for him because he can get through the minutia, but I think right now he does have a blind spot when it comes to Islam. And I don't quite understand why it is, but I know he has that blind spot. Now, let me go ahead and is there anything else you want to add before I jump to the other line, my dear friend?
Well, I might confuse the issue. All I know is that he should have listened to that guy more.
Yes.
And we're not going to condemn him, okay? But we're not going to go on and do what other people keep doing.
Oh, no.
But what we got to do is educate him a little bit. Okay?
Right. Now, like I said, he gets around the minutia, and I like him. I'll continue to watch him because, again, he gives very good. He knows how to put material in a way that can get to people. But we need to kind of make him aware of this, the thing. I think I'm going to prepare a little slip change and send the video to him to his HBO account. But anyway, look, thank you very much for calling, and I hope you call back, Bobby, and stay listening, buddy.
I always listen to KPFT.
Thank you, sir.
At night when it's not full of silly music.
You have a good one, Bobby.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now, Pat, you're up. Pat, how can I, or what would you like to add to the discussion?
Oh, hi there. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't know why it takes a woman's point of view or maybe a black person's point of view, but Islam is open slavery. You bind women into those clothes, and they parade them around in public, and it's open slavery. I wish somebody would acknowledge or just look at it for what it is. I'm not trying to get into a religious point. Mm-hmm. That's a legal point. That's it. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Open slavery.
Okay, let me ask you one thing, because I don't know if you can say open slavery and just fall off like that.
Go ahead.
Please tell me, what does that mean?
Well, have you heard of the Civil War and the fact that we outlawed slavery?
Yes, I think I did.
Not too many people know the history of this country anymore. I find that shocking.
Oh, okay.
But we're not supposed to bind people into slavery for labor or, a woman's life. There's a lot of things that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And as a woman, I know about it. and it's slavery, black people, you name it. It's open slavery. You're binding a person's life to another, and it's to a male.
Okay, well, look, I tell you what.
It's not a religious issue.
Okay, Pat, I hear you. Look, thank you for calling. I hope you continue to listen. And actually, I want you to keep listening to the show because I don't think it is slavery and women, but hey, I could be wrong, could be right.
It is. It's just like, look it up, ask a black person, just look with your own eyes.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the call.
They openly wear from point A to point B in the public thoroughfare. They can't act in a different way.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling. You're a good lady. Okay, Gary, talk to me.
Well, I'm kind of confused. You had a guest that talked about fundamentalist religion.
Yes, sir.
Is there a religion that's not fundamentalist? Now, I understand that. What does that show?
Well, I think, fundamentalism, I think what folks mean is that, I think...
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure, yes, sir.
Okay, now we have the repression of women in Islam. And
yes.
Islam goes back to about 600, 700 A.D.,
mm-hmm.
And you can't be a priest in the Catholic Church, which is Christian,
right.
If you're a woman. And that goes back to, 0 A.D. And then, of course, we have the Judaic religion, which goes back 1,000 years before that. And then we've got the Hindus who believe in multiple gods, like the Greeks and the Romans, and that goes back to about 2000 B.C. And I can't understand, you're differentiating, saying, well, coyotes are better than wolves because they bite you on the left leg instead of the right leg. I mean, all religions are repressive by the nature, by the fact that they're thousands of years old, and they're based on the perception. What is that show that's on your radio station at 7 o'clock? They had an interview with a fellow that wrote a book about putting Islam in context.
Are you talking about The Monitor?
The Monitor. And
yeah, very good show. Yeah, that's a very, Mark is great.
He's saying that they have completely misunderstood Islam because what Muhammad was doing was keeping entire tribes of people from slaughtering each other by suggesting that a thief, instead of attacking your opposing tribe and killing people, you just cut his hand off. Well, now they've turned that into Sharia law, and you cut the head off and you cut the hand off. But his point was that it is taken out of context, and if you look at the Catholic Church, which is one of the richest entities on the planet, and they're worth billions. They have their own bank, and they've got churches all over. And you compare that to the teachings of the wandering preacher Jesus, who said, "Blessed are the poor." You can see the discrepancy between what Jesus taught and what the Catholic Church is. You can see the discrepancy between what Muhammad taught and what Islam has become, and that's true for all. So the whole point is not what religion is doing this or doing that. It is what religion is in itself. That's what I have to say.
You know what? I love what you just said right there. But beforehand, let me just say one thing. I have to go to a quick station ID. This is KPFT 90.1 FM. Folks, please do remember this is a call-in show. You can give us a call at 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-KPFT, and Roxy will tell it to you this way.
713-JAM KPFT.
Absolutely. Now, look, Gary, you're right, and I think if you followed earlier on, I think you would have noticed that that is pretty similar to the reason why I objected to what Bill Maher had to say. Did you hear the program from the beginning at all or not?
Yes, I did, and you're absolutely correct that our God is better than your God. The point is that there is no religion that can justify its own existence based on its behavior.
Right.
Okay? If you're talking in the name of God the merciful, Allah the merciful, God the forgiving, God the loving, then, religion is not not the way to, it's like saying, punching someone in the nose and saying, I love you. You see my point?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're missing the point because we're comparing this religion to that religion. That's like saying, would you rather die from a rattlesnake or a cobra? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Wait, man, you can't leave on that one. I love that one. I love that one. Now, let me just before you go see if I understand what you're saying correctly. In effect, you also believe that Bill Maher was off base.
Absolutely. I mean, anyone that justifies one religion over another has missed the entire point of, I mean, I'm not I'm not an atheist,
right?
And I don't disagree. I think atheists are just as wrong as extreme religious people. Because nobody can know. But the point is that we have not taken the Word of God or the Spirit of God or the prophets and preachers of God. We have made it a human thing, which is the antithesis of what the teachings of these religions are.
Exactly. You know what? I want to bring Roxy in here because Roxy has been shaking her head and saying nothing. Why were you shaking your head like that?
Because I am agreeing with this caller. I feel the exact same way, especially on this issue. Like, people say that religion's the problem. Okay, well, that's like kind of blaming ice cream. Like, there are so many types of ice cream out there in the world, but you hate ice cream? Like, it's the people, it's not the religion itself. I don't see, the Bible running, out there and trying to fight this war. I'm not, or killing all those people. I'm seeing these people do it. And I believe, granted, I grew up in a very religious home. I was raised on religious values, and I believe that all the other religions of the world have the main principles of love and peace, and those things are carried out, I believe, through every religion. I just don't understand why just this whole topic, everyone's blaming a religion. We should be blaming the people who are interpreting this religion.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's what they said on the monitor was we're taking things out of context. Now, what was relevant morally and spiritually in 700 A.D., we remember the Crusades.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we always use when we try to compare the Crusades with what's going on now.
Okay, and that was, at that point in time, and look at what the Christians did to the Jews during the Spanish Inquisition, and look at the Jews and what they did to the Philistines, and the entire history of Judaism is one of war. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and God will smite our enemies, and this is the promised land. Oh, I'm sorry, you're living there already? Too bad. God said that this is our land.
Kill every man, woman, and child.
This is the history of religion, but it's not religion. I agree with what she just said. It is the way we interpret it. And here's my last point. Every single existing religion today is based on the understanding of the planet. Hundreds and thousands of years ago, there was no understanding of science. There was no real, understanding of quantum physics, or even that the entire universe didn't go around the planet Earth. And we're extrapolating what people understood back then to our current world, which is ridiculous.
Thank you, Gary.
You know what?
Thank you.
She wants to say that. That is so true.
Yes, Egberto might try and stay very unbiased on this, but I totally 110% wholeheartedly agree with what you just said, because all of this is just based on, you said it, 10,000 years ago. Like, where our society today, our world as we know it, is not 10,000 years ago.
There you go.
Hey, Gary, you know what? You came in and said a good piece. I want to bring Terry back in. Thank you for calling, Gary, and keep on listening. Give us a call.
All right, good night.
Terry, what do you think?
Well, the last point is illustrative of the falsity of a religion, if you think about it.
Yes.
Take it to its ultimate conclusion. If it was irrelevant 10,000 years ago, what makes it relevant today?
Yes, Terry.
Well, I mean, it's a legitimate question.
No, you're right. Yeah.
If it was irrelevant and based on falsehoods, or better, let me explain it this way. Why is it when science comes up with a breakthrough that hasn't been seen before, religion creates a narrative to support it? Religion used to say
Out of
that
nowhere.
Religion used to say that mice came from piles of grain. Okay? Religion said that the sun revolved around the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And when Copernicus proved that definitively wrong, what did they do to him?
Lock him up.
They excommunicated him until the hue and cry was so great that it could no longer be denied. Then Christianity said, well, you know what? We'll just change our narrative. Well, wait a minute. The narrative is supposedly the Word of God. So if your narrative is an all-knowing, omnipotent God, and it's been proven that your God is wrong, isn't there a flaw somewhere?
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, that's just too much engineering. I mean, that's just, I can't solve problems that don't have a logical flow to them. And this religion doesn't have a logical flow.
It never did. Let me tell you though, why this. At first I didn't want to get too much specifically into the details of religion, but one of the things that, and before I go, folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738, 713-526-KPFT. Roxy says it this way.
713-JAM KPFT.
And I would love for some other ideas or folks to call in. I'd love to see where your minds are on this. We have open lines. But one of the reasons, Terry, that I really wanted to touch this, right, is because I can actually see a danger. And the danger is we know that we all think the right wing, they're a bunch of crackpots, and they'll look for any reason to get on the case of our Muslim brothers and sisters here in the United States and their churches and get involved with trying to take their rights away under the pretense that their religion makes them predisposed to do certain things here in America. But that is expected of folks on the right. It's expected. But when it comes to those that we consider enlightened, liberals, progressives, moderates, we are the enlightened ones. We are the fact-based ones. We are the ones that look at the world and we change our minds when we must. When the evidence tells us to change our minds, we do.
Really? You just heard 4 or 5 callers cite the fundamentalist dogma of religion.
Right.
In support of it. So are we really as enlightened as we think we are?
Well, I said liberals, buddy, and that's my expectation because I consider you enlightened. I consider you a good liberal. I'm enlightened. I think I'm a good liberal. Roxy, even though I don't know if she'd want me to say that, I consider her a good liberal. But anyhow, let me get another call, Terry.
Absolutely.
Brandon, come on in.
Have one.
Terry, we dropped you accidentally, run into Brandon, but come on in, Brandon.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some just misinterpretations of different texts where people want to take and say, they can carbon date rock and they can take in, the world is X amount of years old, and they take the text outside of what it was written. You have to take it is for what it is. I definitely believe in science, and I definitely believe in religion, and have a lot of faith in my faith, or a lot. I don't know how you want to say.
No, but that is fine. Let me tell you, Brandon. Like I tell people all the time, I'm a humanist. Okay, I work for today. I believe in solving problems for human beings. I believe in all. I don't want to go into that tenet. But my family, most of my entire family, and notice I said most, are Christians. Yeah. I have other religions mixed up in there as well, and so I mean, I have to straddle.
There's extremists in every belief. I have a father who it's crazy to me, but he has diabetes, but he doesn't take care of himself, and he's lost his toe, and now he has a big hole on the bottom of his other foot, and he believes he's going to be healed. But and the fact is, and I believe that he can be healed. Okay, I believe in miracles and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me that, but I also believe that you got common sense to take care of yourself too.
Yes.
I hear you, buddy. I definitely hear where he's coming from, but come on now,
I hear you, buddy. I hear you, buddy.
Extremist. So anyhow, I appreciate you guys.
Look, thank you for calling and keep listening. And whenever you have some thoughts, give us a call. We want to hear from all you guys, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Brendan. Okay, Imani, talk to me.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in about no, I'm not trying to say you guys are wrong towards your, how to say how disgruntled you guys are with Christianity per se.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just coming to say that, you can't speak on all religion in the same way because Christianity is more or less a falsehood, period. It was developed in 1611 by King James and his crew of people. Like, I'm not saying Christianity is a false religion, like it has no basis in reality, but if you want to talk about science proof and aspects of religions, if anything, science has proven Islam more and more in the more recent years. There's actually, even in Islam, it describes the development of a baby, and that has been nothing but backed by science. But I believe that the issue is that Christianity itself was developed with a negative agenda. And a lot of people may want to say whatever about the good book, but the simple fact is the good book is not the isn't the Lord's word. The good book is the king's book developed by King James. And that's something that people need to take into account.
Okay, what's interesting, Imani, is we weren't really talking about Christianity. We were just contrasting Christianity with something that when it comes to the scientific proving of the religions or whatever, it's above my pay grade, so I won't even try to. I wouldn't even try to weigh in that respect. I weigh in from it simply from sort of a philosophical point of view. I hadn't, so I get what you're saying. But anything else you want to add, my friend?
Well, I would like to tell listeners to actually read a book called A Hero with 1,000 Faces. It came out in the 40s. Mm-hmm. It basically teaches the reader how to psychoanalyze religion / myths in the same manner that we would do a dream, because religion, like our dreams, are they're based off of what's going on in our lives. It just happens to be that religion is more general.
Okay.
So it's easier to break down.
Well, look, thank you.
A person's dream.
Thank you very much, Senor Imani, and keep on listening. Give us a call sometime. Folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. The number is 713-526-KPFT, and Roxy says it this way.
713-JAM KPFT. And I feel like that caller kind of misunderstood a little bit about what we were, not saying that what he was saying was not factual or right or true. It could be. Again, I'm with Egberto on this. It's above my pay grade, so I kind of wane from that. But at the same time, I felt, and I believe Terry was when we were quoting Christianity, because that's what we know.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to quote, is Islam or any of that, or Buddhism, because I don't know that.
We leave that for Reza Islam. He is a scholar who has studied all these religions. I defer.
I just, thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate you. But I feel like that's, and I don't even think Christians are the issue. And I could be wrong in this.
No. Christians, this had nothing. In fact, Bill Maher is not even a Christian. Bill Maher is a bona fide atheist. I mean, we were just using that as what Bill Maher attempted to do was to contrast Christianity and Islam. And the problem that I had with Bill is what he did is, when you're of neither items that you're arguing about, but you use one of them just to make your point, even though you're with neither one of them. And that's what he did, because when he looked and he said, I don't remember of any, and I think
I agree with that. I feel like I find that with a lot of people who don't who have the same views as Bill.
Right.
Is they're not religious, and they're not this religion or that religion, but yet they have some sort of leniency towards the other one than the rest of them.
Right, and that's what we have to work in. Oops, lines are coming again. Let's see. While she brings that one on for me. But anyhow, folks, do remember the telephone number is 713-526-5738, 713-526-KPFT. And I think Roxy's about to put me on with James. James, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Talk to me, my friend.
I was just listening to your show tonight and became really interested and thought there's a lot of I guess negativity focused towards Christianity, and understandably, given its history and everything, but there's a lot of spiritual people as well. And what I found in my case is that book of King James has an awful lot of truth written in it that's being portrayed out today. And it has to beg the question, how much more of it is true? And, if you listen to someone, they get ridiculed a lot for, say, believing in Jesus Christ. I think if they said they believed in Teddy Ruxpin, they wouldn't get near the criticism.
Let me just say one thing, James. Two things here. I mean, I think if you've heard anything negative about Christianity on this show so far,
no.
Because I tried not to do that, but the discussion was actually on Islam and what I felt was sort of an unfair attack on Islam in general. So, I mean, as far as your religion, I do... Oops, I got 4 minutes, she said. I respect your right to your religion, and not only that, to practice it. I am a true liberal. I believe everybody should do as they want.
I believe it too, and I'm just noticing that from my experience in my day-to-day life, I notice there's a lot of negativity towards general religion.
Yes, I hear you, buddy.
I understand. And as well as with Islam, and I think it's a shame that a lot of people.
I'm glad that you actually
believe what they want to believe.
I'm glad you put that other part when you said as well as with Islam. But I got to let you go right now, James, because I have one more call I'm going to try to fit in. Thank you very much for calling. Please keep listening, my friend. Michael, come on in real quickly, my dear friend.
Hello.
Talk to me, Michael.
Hey, yes, I was calling. I wanted to make a comment about I think it was not the caller you just spoke with, the caller before.
Sure, go ahead and make your comment, my friend.
About how the Bible was written. The Bible was written by, his comment was the Bible was written by King James. The Bible was not written by King James. The Bible was interpreted by King James.
Right.
But to go even further than that, the Bible wasn't written by King James, simply rewrote the Bible. But the Bible says that the Bible is the inspired word of God, which means, see, a lot of people, that's the case about a lot of people who don't believe in the Bible. They all say the Bible was written by a man. The Bible was written by the hand of man, but through the inspiration of the Holy Spirit.
You know what? My dear friend, I accept that's your belief, and I have no problem with it. Please, I wish I could give you more time, but I have to get to my closing. Thank you very much for calling. Listen again, and you can bring up your issues anytime you want on my show. Is that okay?
Will do. Thank you for listening.
You have a wonderful day, my friend. Terry, give me a quick closer, buddy.
Islam, Judaism, Mormonism, Baptism, Catholicism, Hinduism. It's all crap.
That is a Terry closing. I would never say that, Terry, but you're my buddy, and you have that way of speaking, my dear friend. Anyhow, folks, thank you very much, Terry, for calling in. Thank you very much for being a part of the show as usual. You're invaluable with your talk.
See you next week.
Take care, my friend. Folks, thank you very much for being a part of Politics Done Right. I really enjoy hearing all your points of views. I don't care from what direction you're coming. I always want to hear your views, because that is what America is all about. That is what democracy is about. And that is what we liberals do, my dear friend. We want to hear all points of view, because it is your country. It is your right. It is your station. Folks, next week, remember, we're going to be starting our fund drive, and we want to hear from you. We keep this program on the air because it's the program that's going to give you the truth. It is Politics Done Right. Thank you very much. C'est la vie. Adios.
Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.